The first hardcore show I ever saw was in May of 1988 at the Ritz, which is now Webster Hall. I was 14 years old. I snuck out of my house with some friends to go see Token Entry, Super Touch, Murphy's Law, and the Bad Brains. And yeah, I remember it was quite an experience. It was kind of scary and exciting at the same time, but I think I found my calling that night, I think we could say. I'm gonna say CBGB's. I mean, I grew up there. I went there for the first time when I was 14, using a birth certificate that said I was 16. But another one is definitely Lemoore, because just as much time as I spent going to CB's on Sunday, I would spend at Lemoore on a Friday or a Saturday. I'm gonna go with Mackie. His performance on Age of Quarrel, the demo and the album is second to none. Armand from Sick of It All is a fucking awesome drummer, one of the hardest hitting drummers out there. And then I would say a third drummer would be Chuck Biscuits, a guy who not a lot of people think of, but it is one of the greatest drummers to probably ever come out of the punk scene ever. There's two that really stand out. One was in October of '88 at CB's. It was called the Pete's Sake Benefit, and it was a show for Pete, Sick of It All, who had gotten in some trouble. And that was really cool. Maximum Penalty and Beyond played that show, and Straight Ahead did a reunion set at that show, and Leeway headlined that show. That was fucking amazing. And another great one from around that time was in January of '89, the Benefit for Roger from Agnostic Front, where like Side by Side played, Nausea, Wolfpack, Raw Deal. It was just an insane show. I was there all day long, from the first band to just about almost to when AF was finished, because I was 15 and had to be back home, you know, so. See, I'm fortunate. I came up in a good time and I saw a lot of good bands, but there's literally almost two New York hardcore bands I didn't get to see for whatever reason. One is Altercation, who were a great Brooklyn band. They only did 3 shows, but they were done by the time I got in the door. And I never got to see YDL. I always liked YDL growing up. They were also a Brooklyn band. Never got to see them for whatever reason. But aside from that, I always wished I could have seen Sam Hain. Again, I just missed them by about a year and a half. Actually, I've been really into a couple bands from England. This band called Violent Reaction, who are on Revelation Records. They're fucking great. Another new band from the UK called Arms Race. Really heavy, you know, sick hardcore. And this new Oi band called Crown Court from the UK, I like. And as far as America, some bands from Boston I really dig. Rival Mob, one of the best hardcore bands of the last decade, I think. A band called Boston Strangler, who's been around for a couple of years, love them. And another Boston band called No Tolerance, really good straight edge band. Definitely John Brandon from Negative Approach, Lou Kohler from Sick of It All, Choke from Slapshot, Mike Judge, and Ray Capo. Those are some of my favorites right there. Well, honestly, I mean, youth of today had a profound effect on me when I was about 14, 15 years old. And even though I'm not straight edge anymore, I was years ago, I feel like I've taken some of that kind of spirit with me. And of course, Judge is another band, had a huge effect on me. And you know, early Boston bands, SSD and DYS, loved them growing up. And early Slapshot too. Just, you know, very into all that stuff. I gotta tell you, there are some young kids coming into hardcore, and that's really what keeps it going. The older people kind of hold it up, but the new people kind of are what keep it going. And I'm really happy to see 16, 17, 18-year-old kids coming into the scene, and I hope you stay as long as I did, and as long as many have. No, hardcore isn't dead. Hardcore is although it is a movement, it is also it's a genre of music too. I know people don't like to say that, but like, you know, death metal or black metal or thrash metal, there's hardcore music. It'll always be there. There's always a new band forming. There's always an angry kid somewhere who hears Age of Quarrel for the first time, who hears Victim in Pain for the first time, and goes, this is what I want to do. That's what happened to me as a kid, and believe me, it's still happening.